Hi, I'm John. 2 years ago, my life was much better, but I screwed it all up. I took everything I had and shoved it in the bin. I wish I could take it all back. This is my story. I and Sarah got married 2 years ago. Things were going great. We had money, paid our bills on time. Always happy and we always loved each other. I was on top of things in my life and I loved who I was. I loved the fact that I made Sarah happy. I loved that I had her trust and confidence. I loved that she could always count on me. I always helped out, especially with the chores whenever I can. During a grocery run, I ran into a friend that I haven't seen in a long time. We started chatting and ended up exchanging contacts. Then we parted ways. On my way home, I was wondering what happened to us. He was a good friend of mine back in the day. I kind of felt bad for leaving him just like that. It's been 2 years and I haven't spoken to him since then. After meeting and getting married to Sarah, I just kind of zoomed out of his life. This was my friend, my homeboy, and I just forgot all about him. I guess it's true what they say. You lose a friend when you get married. I felt so guilty that I had to call him up for a hangout. We met at a sports bar. We talked and reminisced about the good old days. It was fun. Then the barman passed an envelope riddled with money to him. He smiled as he collected it. I was shocked. My curiosity made me ask him why he got that much cash from the barman. He told me it was his winnings. That he placed a bet on a team and they won. I never knew him as someone who does that. A lazy fun guy to be with, yes, but as a gambler, no. I inquired more to know why. He replied that he does that for a living. Since I kinda left him to start a family, he had to figure things out for himself. He called it a business. That he puts in the hours researching the teams and all that to get a better idea of who to pick. I laughed telling him that he was just sugarcoating the fact that he was gambling. And I warned him to stop before it's too late. Nothing good ever comes from easy money. He laughed and from his winnings gave me $200 and told me what to tell the barman. I looked at him with disbelief. He wanted me to place a bet with the money he gave me. I did as told even though I was reluctant, but I was hoping to lose so I could show him that gambling is bad. We were still gisting when the barman came back and gave me an envelope riddled with $1,500. I was mesmerized. I couldn't believe it. In 30 minutes, $200 became $1,500. Right there and then, I was sucked in. My friend laughed as he told me that he makes that every week. I started to think gambling was going to be beneficial, like another side business that could bring in the cash. And just like that, I was hooked. I started following him out and together we were unstoppable. Of course, some days there were losses, but the wins were more than the losses. We could lose $3,000 in a night and by the next day win $5,000. The extra cash was used in my home. Everything was going good, and when Sarah asked me where I got the money from, I always told her that business was really good. It became a habit now to always visit the sports bar and lie to Sarah. As time went on, I got impatient with the analysis that we usually did, and I also got greedy. So I started betting more to win more. I started betting in places or even games I knew nothing about. I was losing. The losses were becoming bigger than the wins. To make matter worse, my friend stopped gambling. He met someone, a girl he really liked and was thinking of getting engaged to her. All of a sudden, I was tagged to have a bad influence on him. Even though he was the one who introduced me to this world. Before I knew it, I lost contact with him again. From seeing every night to thrice a week, to once a week, and to no more. He was gone. I was the only one left now. I should have stopped. There and then. I should have called it quits. My friend was no longer there, so I shouldn't. But no, I continued. The night he told me to quit was the night I won $10,000. Can you imagine winning $10,000? It felt good. I should have stopped there, but winning that amount gave me fool's confidence that I could do this and do it without the help of anyone. So I kept on playing. From curiosity to hobby to business, and now I became addicted to it. I just wanted to play. Whatever game it was, I needed to play. I knew I had a problem that even Sarah didn't know. I loved gambling, but it was becoming harmful. I began to take from my savings and ended up losing the money. I've tried to quit so many times, but I always found myself back. Yes, I've won a few times, but most times I lost. Sarah didn't know about this. I tried to keep it hidden, but gradually she was taking notice of my strange behaviors, like how I was going out at night and sometimes coming back with a bad mood because I lost a bet, or how engrossed I was in live matches like my life depended on it. To make matter worse, I was collecting from our savings and Sarah's suspicions grew. She asked why there was not enough money for a project she wanted to work on. I told her I used it for a business venture. I was hoping and praying that I would replace it with any money I won, but each time I try to win the money back, I lose more. It started with my savings. I exhausted that. Then I took from my joint savings and also exhausted that too. We were saving for our family, for our new house, for our dreams, and I just took from there like it was nothing. I was and still am scum. I remembered this one time. Sarah came home angry. She asked me why her card was declined. I'd run out of lies to tell her. I wasn't working on a project because I used that excuse last week when she couldn't get groceries. I was caught in between. She looked at me angrily and asked me again. I finally answered her and I told her I used the money for my mom's treatment, that my mom was sick. At first, she didn't want to believe my lies, but I started crying like it was something huge and she had no choice but to console me. I lied to her and didn't want to bother her about it. I had escaped this time around, at least that's what I thought. I was always edgy. Things began to miss from our home because I sold them. I kept praying and hoping for a win, and now the stakes were higher. I was gunning for the bigger reward so that I can use the money to buy back everything. As usual, I win small and I lose big. One day I came home and met Sarah crying. I was worried, wondering what happened. I asked her why she was crying. She looked at me and handed me a roll of small paper clips. I looked at them and saw it was my bet slip. My game was up. She kept crying, asking how long, why. I couldn't say anything. I didn't know, but we were in the red. It was bad. Real bad. Our money was all gone. We had nothing. I even had to mortgage the house. I couldn't even tell her that. Apparently, Sarah went to take a loan from the bank from our joint account, but she was refused because of her account statement. They couldn't loan to someone who had nothing to act or give as collateral, and Sarah found out by the bank that our home was already mortgaged. Sarah stared at me, asking if she was at fault or if she's the reason I started this path. I told her no, that it was me. And truthfully, it was me. My friend might have introduced me, but I choose to come back every night to play and now I have nothing. Sarah told me to take her to the place I usually place my bet. I don't know why she asked that. It was just odd. I tried to say no, but her face and emotions said otherwise. I'd betrayed her trust, and it's going to take a miracle for us to get through this. So I agreed and I drove her to the sports bar. We got there. Sarah looked around, looking at the place that brought our marriage to a halt. Was this worth it, she asked. I couldn't reply. She brought her money and told me this is what she had left because of me. She lost everything. She counted it. It was $200. I could see her flaring up. She asked who I paid to. I showed her the barman. She gave the barman the money and picked 5 random teams without a care in the world. The barman stared at her, asking if she was sure. She said yes. The barman did as told. I tried to say something, trying to understand what she was doing. She was sad. She said she did that to understand why I ditched the good calm life I had with her for this chaos. We were about to be homeless because of me and we were broke. Just why, she asked. She removed her wedding ring and threw it at me, calling it quits. It was over between us. I tried to stop her, begging her to come back. That I'll stop, that we can work this out. But all my words fell on deaf ears. She walked out of the bar. I stared as she left, now crying myself, hoping to return the time and take it all back. The barman called my attention, but with a roaring cheer and applause. I didn't want to talk to anyone or hear anything. My wife's gone. But the applause and the cheer just got louder and louder, and I was wondering what the celebration was all about. It turns out Sarah's bet paid off and she won $9 million. The crazy out-of-the-world prediction she did landed her that amount. With this money, I could buy back everything. This was the miracle I was hoping for. This was what I was praying for. I was happy for a moment, and then I remembered Sarah. She's gone. I lost something special for what? She won the money, but I have no one to celebrate it with. I'll gladly trade this money for just Sarah to be back. Do you think Sarah will take me back if she knows about this money, or have I lost her forever? Please let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to leave a like. Thank you for listening to my story.